Hi, welcome to the channel English Professionally, and this course is all tenses in English with examples, but it's a full course. So this course is really useful. So you know that I work as an English teacher. This course is very special. So there is lots of interesting information in this course, and you'll also see different exercises. So there is lots of interesting and useful information. You also see different exercises. You'll also see different exercises. So watch different exercises. Watch all this course. So you can recommend it to your friends. You can recommend it to your friends. So I hope this video course will really help you to understand English grammar and English tenses much better. So I really hope this video course will help you understand English grammar. So you see, and English tenses much better. Okay, so and have a look at our playlists. So it's very important and very useful, and thanks for your support. Okay, so this information is very important. So I work as an English teacher. This course is very special. There is lots of interesting and useful information. You'll also see different exercises. Watch all this course. You can recommend it to your friends. So recommend it to your friends if you like it. Why not? I'll be happy. So I really hope this video course will help you understand English grammar and English tenses much better. Thanks for your support. Okay, so let's start with the most important tense. What is it? So what do you think about that? So I think it's present simple. Present simple is the first tense. Please remember, present simple. So we use it when we talk about the present. So it's the main tense. For things which usually happen, or sometimes, and so on. Not now. So if it's about now, we need to use another tense. So what is this tense? So if it's about now, we need to use another tense. So what is it? Do you know the name of this tense? Do you know the name of this tense? It's present continuous. Well, we'll talk about it a bit later. Okay, so we'll talk about it a bit later. Okay, so you'll see. Let's start with the most important tense. What is it? It's present simple. We use it when we talk about the present. It's the main tense. For things, we use it for things which usually happen sometimes and so on. Not now, not now. If it's about now, we need to use another tense. So what is it? Do you know the name of this tense? It's present continuous. We'll talk about it a bit later. Okay, so let's talk about present simple. Well, how to form this tense? How to form this tense? It's very easy. It's very easy. It's very easy. So, subject plus verb. Subject plus verb. Okay, for example, I work. So I is a subject and work is a verb. I work. I understand. I understand. We see. We learn English. Here. We learn English. Here. You go to work. You go to work. You live in America. For example, you live in America. So, you see, it's very easy. Subject plus verb. Okay, so, more examples. More examples. More examples. So, they help us. They help us. They listen to the radio. They listen to the radio. So, okay, we'll talk about it a bit later. So, present simple, how to form this tense? It's very easy. Subject plus verb. So, I work. I is a subject and work is a verb. I understand. I is a subject and understand is a verb. We see. We is a subject and see is a verb, and so on. We learn English here. You go to work. You live in America. Okay, more examples. They help us. They listen to the radio. So, please remember this structure. Subject, subject plus verb. Yeah, please. Please remember this. Please remember this structure. Please remember this structure. Subject plus verb. Yeah, but there are two situations. There are two situations. So the first situation, it's when you have I, we, you, they, I, we, you, they, plus verb. So we have it here. Yeah, but there is the second situation. Situation number 2. So it's when you have he, she, it, plus verb plus s. Please don't forget to put s. It's so important. Don't forget to put s. It's so important. Okay. he works. He works there. So we say he works. She understands. She understands him. Understands. She understands him. It really helps. It really helps. It really helps. Okay? So it's a very important rule. It's a very important rule. Please remember it. So it's a very important rule. Please remember it. Please remember it. Okay? So yeah, you need to remember this structure. Please remember this structure. Subject plus verb. But there are two situations. So the first situation is when you have I, we, you, they plus verb. So we have examples. We have different examples here. And the second situation is when you have he, she, it plus verb plus s. Please don't forget to put s. It's so important. Yeah, examples. He works there. She understands him. It really helps. Okay? So, yeah, I have a short test for you. So I'm sure that you need different exercises. And so it's a test for you. So, he work or he works? He work or he works there? So, which variant is correct? And how can you explain it? And yeah, which variant is correct? How can you explain it? How can you explain it in English? How can you explain it in English? So, he worked there or he works there? So, which variant is correct? He works. Why? Because it's present simple. And it's the second situation. He, she, it. So, we have he, and it's the second situation. So if you have he, she, it, you add s. So he works there. Okay, next. So we learn English or we learns English. So which variant is correct? How can you explain it in English? So we have we. It's the first situation. So it's without s. It's without as we learn English. So it's the first situation. Okay, more difficult things. More difficult things. My sister live or my sister lives in Brazil. My sister live or my sister lives in Brazil. So which variant is correct? How can you explain it in English? My sister lives. So it's the second situation because my sister means she. It means she. My sister means she. So we add s. So my sister lives in Brazil. Okay, so and one more one more task, one more task. So the lesson seem, or the lesson seems interesting. The lesson seem, or the lesson seems interesting. So the lesson, what is it? He, she, it, they. So the lesson is it. The lesson is it. So it's the second situation. It's the second situation. And we add s. The lesson seems interesting. The lesson seems interesting. Okay, well done. Excellent. Okay, well done. Well done. Excellent. Let's continue. Well done. Excellent. So let's continue. Okay, how to form a negative form? How to form a negative form? Okay, how to form a negative? How to form a negative form? Okay, so we call it affirmative, or statement, we call it affirmative or statement, negative, and question, or interrogative form. Okay, affirmative or statement, negative, and a question and or interrogative. So how to form a negative form? So we talked about, about this affirmative form. So how to form a negative form? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So it's easy. It's easy. It's easy. Look. It's easy. Look. If you have I, we, you, they, you use don't plus verb. If you have he, she, it, you use doesn't plus verb. Doesn't plus verb. So I work. So, and you can form a negative sentence. I, we, you, they don't. So I don't work. I don't work. He, she, it doesn't plus verb. So next, we work. So we don't work. We don't work. You work. You don't work. You don't work. They work. They work. They don't work. They don't work. They don't work. Okay? So he works. Don't forget about S. He doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't work. He doesn't work. Okay? So next, you see, she works. She works. She works. She works. She doesn't. She doesn't work. she doesn't work. It works, it works. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Please don't forget about s when you have he, she, it. Okay? So, look, I, we, you, they plus don't plus verb. He, she, it plus doesn't plus verb. Look, I work, I don't work. You see, we work, we don't work. You work, you don't work. They work, they don't work. He works, he doesn't work. She works, she doesn't work, it doesn't work. So it's easy. And I think that you need some exercises. You need some exercises. So no problem. So he don't or he doesn't go to school. So which variant is correct and why? So don't or doesn't. He doesn't. He doesn't go to school. Why? Because he, she, it. If you have he, she, it, okay? If you have he, she, it, please remember it. You add s. Yeah? If it's a statement and if it's a negative form, you use doesn't. Okay? Let's write it down. Let's write it down. If you have he, she, or it, if you have he, she, or it, so good, you add s. You add s. So verb plus s. In a statement, okay? If it's a negative form, you use doesn't before a verb. You use doesn't before a verb. So doesn't or don't, you use don't or doesn't. Use don't or doesn't before a verb. So don't or doesn't plus verb. Okay, next. Okay, good. So we don't or we doesn't smoke. So don't or doesn't and why? So if it's I, we, you, they don't, if it's he, she, it doesn't. So we don't smoke. Next. My brother don't or doesn't. So my brother don't or doesn't listen to pop music. So don't or doesn't and why? So my brother, so it's he, she, it. What is it? My brother it means he. It means he. So he, she, it doesn't. My brother doesn't listen to pop music. Okay? So you see exercises. He doesn't go to school. Let's write it down. Let's write it down. So if you have he, she, or it, you add s, verb plus s in a statement. If it's a negative form, you use don't or doesn't before a verb. So don't or doesn't plus verb. So we don't smoke because we have we. My brother doesn't listen to pop music. It means he. Good. Okay. How to form a question? How to form a question? How to form a question? So it's easy. Do, if you have I, we, you, they, plus verb, and does, if you have he, she, it, plus verb, So, you see, do you understand? Do you understand? So do, we use do because we have you. Do you understand? Do, you, and understand. Understand is a verb. Does she? Does she understand? Does she understand? So we use does because of she. Okay? We use does. We use does because of she. And understand is a verb. Do you understand? Does she understand? Do you know it? Do you know it? Next. For example, do they live there? Do they live there? Okay. How to form a question? So, do, if you have I, we, you, they, plus verb, and does, if you have he, she, it, plus verb. So, do you understand? Does she understand? We use does because of she. Do you know it? Do they live there? Okay, some exercises. I think that you need these exercises. Some exercises. So, do or does? Do or does? Please choose. Do or does? Okay? So, do she live there or does she live there? So, do or does and why? So, we have she. So, you know that we use does if it's he, she, it, and do if it isn't he, she, it, if it's I, we, you, they. So, does she live there? Does he, she, it? Does she live there? Does she live there? Good. Do or does you learn English every day? Every day? So, do you learn English every day or does you learn English every day? So, if it's he, she, it, it's does. If it isn't he, she, it, it's do. So, do you learn English every day? Next. Do or does your brother drive a car? Drive a car. So, your brother is a subject. So, do or does. So, your brother. So, what is it? He, she, it, they, you. It means he. It means he. It means he. Okay? So, he, she, it. If we have he, she, it, we use does. Does he? So does he, does your brother? Does your brother drive a car? Next, do or does your parents work? So your parents is a subject. What is it? I, we, you, they, he, she, it. Your parents means they. It means they. And we ask, do they? So do your parents. Do your parents work? Okay, very good. Very good. Okay, so more exercises for you. More exercises for you. So he understands. He understands. So say it in three forms. Say it in three forms: a statement, a negative form, and a question. Okay? So he understand. Is it correct or not? Is it correct or not? Not. Because, look, it's the second situation. If we have he, she, it, so we have verb plus s. Don't forget to put s. Okay? So he understands. He understands. Good. Next. So negative form. So how to say it? How to say it? So we use don't if it's I, we, you, they, and doesn't if it's he, she, it. Okay? So he, so doesn't. He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. Without s. We have s only in a statement. So he doesn't understand. And let's form a question. So you know, do or does. We have does if it's he, she, it. So he, does he. Does he understand? Does he understand? Okay, so we have he understands, he doesn't understand, does he understand? Okay, next. They help us. They help us. So say it in three forms. So in a statement, negative form, and a question. So they, it's a subject plus verb. Help us. Is it okay? Yeah, it's okay. Because we have s only with he, she, it. Okay, how to form a negative sentence? They don't or doesn't. He, she, it doesn't. So if it isn't he, she, it, it's don't. So they don't help us. And think about this. So do or does. Look, does he, she, it? If it isn't he, she, it, it's do. So it isn't he, she, it. So do they? Do they help us? Do they help us? Okay, well done, well done. So more exercises. He, say it in three forms. Say it in three forms. Okay, so he understands. Is it correct or not? He doesn't understand. Does he understand? They help us. They don't help us. Do they help us? Good. So we talked about present simple. We talked about present simple. We talked about a statement. Good. Then we talked about a negative form, yeah, how to form a negative form, and we talked about a question, okay? So this is 1.4. So let's talk about the verb to be. Let's talk about the verb to be. So when do we need it? When do we need it? When do we need it? So there is a rule. There is a rule. If you don't have a verb in a sentence, if you don't have a verb in a sentence, if you don't have a verb in a sentence, in present simple, you need to use the form of to be. You need to use the form of to be. You need to use the form of to be. So am, is, or are. Look. For example, I work. So work is a verb. So work is a verb. We don't need to be. We don't need to be. Okay? We don't need to be. Next. Eat interesting. Eat interesting. Do we have a verb in this sentence? Do we have a verb? Do we have a verb in this sentence? Do we have a verb in this sentence? No. No. So you need the verb to be. So you need the verb to be. You need the verb to be. So am, is, or are. Okay? So you know that I am, he, she, it is, and we, you, they are. We, you, they are. Okay? So it is. So we say it is interesting. It is interesting. It is interesting. Yeah, it is interesting. So if you say, so do we have a verb in the sentence? No, so you need the verb to be. So if you say it interesting, it's interesting, it's wrong. It's wrong. It's English grammar. It's English grammar. You need to remember this rule. It's English grammar. You need to remember. You need to remember this rule. You need to remember this rule. Okay? So if you say it's interesting, it's wrong. You need to remember this rule. So it is. It is interesting. It's interesting. Okay? So more examples. More examples. So I am at home. We are at home. You are at home. They are at home. So we don't have a verb in the sentence, so we use the form of to be. Am, is, or are. I am. We are. You are. They are. If you have he, she, it, you use is. He is at home. She is at home. It is at home. So it's very good. It's very good. So you can use a short form. So I'm at home, or we're at home, you're at home, they are at home, they are at home. Next, so you see, he is at home, he is at home. So it's a short form. She's at home, and it's at home. So short, long, and short, and long and short form. Long and short form. So he's at home, she's at home, it's at home. Good. So very good. Well, so what about a negative form of to be? So a negative form of to be. So it's easier. For example, I am at work. So we say I am, negative, I am not, I'm not, I'm not at work. For example, we are, or you are, they are, we are, you are, they are, and we say we are not at work. You are not at work, they are not at work. And if you have he, she, it, you say is at work. He is at work, she is at work, it is at work. So if you need a negative form, you say he is not. He is not at work. She is not. She is not at work. It is not at work. So you can also use a short form. You can also use a short form. So look, I'm not at work. I'm not at work. We aren't at work. We aren't at work. You aren't at work. They aren't at work. Okay, good. And you can say he isn't. So he isn't at work. She isn't at work. It isn't at work. Okay, so to be you can also use a short form. So we often use it in spoken English. So when you speak, we often use it in spoken English when you speak. Good. Okay. And a question. So how to form a question with to be? So am, is, or are. So if you have I, you say am I. For example, am I a good student? Am I a good student? Am I? Is he? Is she? Is it? For example, is he a good student? Is he a good student? Is she a good student? So is it interesting? Is it interesting? So is he a good student? Is he a good student? Is she a good student? Is it interesting? So we use is with he, she, it. Are we good students? Are we good students? Are they good students? Okay, so are you good students? Are you good students? So, am I a good student? Is he, she, and is it, for example, is he a good student? Is she a good student? Is it interesting? Are we, they, you? So, are we good students? Are they good students? Are you good students? Okay, let's do some exercises. Really, let's do some exercises. Really, let's do some exercises. Let's do some exercises. I think you like them. Let's do some exercises. Okay? So it's a test. I am, is, or are happy. I am. Remember, yeah? I am, he, she, it, is, we, you, they, are. Okay, he, am, is, or are at work. He is, he, she, it is. Okay? Next, they, am, is, or are there. We, you, they are there. Okay, next. My sister at school. So am, is, or are. My sister means, so my sister, he, she, it, we, you, they. My sister means she is. So my sister is at school. My sister is at school. Next, the lesson. The lesson, interesting. So the lesson, what is it? He, they, we, it. The lesson means it. It is. So the lesson is interesting. Good. My friends in Spain. Is, am, or are. My friends. So it means they. We say they are. So my friends are in Spain. My friends are in Spain. Good. So I am happy. He is at work. They are there. My sister is at school. The lesson is interesting. My friends are in Spain. Good. So one more exercise. One more exercise on present simple. One more exercise on present simple. So it interesting. Say it in a statement, so in a negative form and in a question. So how will you say it? So it, do you need the form to be? Do you need the form to be? You know that we have a rule. So we have a rule. Good. So if you don't have a verb in a sentence in present simple, yeah, you need to use the form of to be. You need to use the form of to be. So you don't have a verb, so you need to use the form of to be. It is. It is interesting. It is interesting. Negative. So negative form. So it is not. It is not interesting. It is not interesting. How will you ask a question? So is it interesting? Is it interesting? You can also use a short form. You can also use a short form. So it's interesting. It isn't interesting. And is it interesting? So very good. Okay, let's talk about the second tense. Let's talk about the second tense. The second tense, it's future simple. It's future simple. You know, it's very easy. You know, it's very easy to form this tense. You know, it's very easy to form this tense. So, good. Future simple. So, will plus verb. Will plus verb. Good. For example, I will do it. We will do it. You will do it. They will do it. He will do it. She will do it. It will do it. For example, I will learn English. I will learn English fast. She will come to us. She will come to us. Okay, so it's a long form. You can also use a short form. You can also use a short form. So you say I'll do it. I'll do it. I will or I'll do it. We'll do it. You'll do it. You'll do it. Next, they'll do it. She'll do it. She'll do it. He'll do it. It'll do it. It'll do it. So you see, we use it in speaking. So we use short forms in speaking. So we use short forms in speaking. So you see, let's talk about the second tense. So it's future simple. You know, it's very easy to form this tense. So will plus verb. So it's a long form. Yeah, you see, I will do it, we will do it, you will do it, they will do it, he will do it, she will do it, it will do it. I will learn English fast. She will come to us. Or you can use a short form. I'll do it, will do it, you'll do it, they'll do it, she'll do it, he'll do it, it'll do it. We use short forms in speaking. So you see. Okay, so we often use future simple with future simple with tomorrow, tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, the day after tomorrow, soon, later. For example, I'll call him later. I'll call him later. Or we can use a full form. I will call him later. Okay, so you see. So how to form a negative form? So it's very easy. Will not plus verb, or won't plus verb. So you see, I will not go to the party. I will not go to the party. We will not agree. You will not do it. They will not come to us. She will not study there. He will not watch that video. It will not help them. It will not help them. So you see, will not plus verb. So want or want plus verb. So I will not go to the party. We will not agree. You will not do it. They will not come to us. She will not study there. He will not watch that video. It will not help them. Or you can use won't. Won't. So I won't go to the party. We won't agree. You won't do it. They won't come to us. She won't study there. He won't watch that video. It won't help them. Okay, so it's easy. And how to form a question? How to form a question? So you put will in the beginning. You put will in the beginning. So look, will, then I, we, you, they, or he, she, it, plus verb. For example, will you do it for me? Will you do it for me? Well, so will you do it for me? Next, for example, will we talk? Will we talk about that? Will he agree? And so on. Okay, so let's do some exercises. So he come to the party. So please say it in future simple. So in a statement, in a negative form, and in a question. So how will you say it? He. You know how we form this tense. So will plus verb. Will plus verb. So he will come. He will come to the party. He will come to the party. How to form a negative form? So will not plus verb or won't plus verb. So he will not. He will not come, or he won't come, or he won't come to the party. How to ask a question? How to ask a question? We put will in the beginning, then we have a subject and a verb. So, will he come to the party? Will he come to the party? Okay, very good. So we have he will come to the party. He will not come to the party. He won't come to the party. Will he come to the party? Okay, so let's talk about the next tense. It's past simple. It's past simple. Okay, past simple and statement. Good. So, for example, I work and I do it. How to say it in past simple? How to say it? How to say it in past simple? How to say it in past simple? So you need to know that there are two situations. There are two situations. So the first situation. So for regular verbs, so you add ed, verb plus ed. I work, it's present simple, and I worked, it's past simple. So you add ed, ed. I work, I worked. We play, We play, we played, we played. Good. She listened, she listened, she listened, she listened. Ed. Okay, so we add ed. It's easier. It's easier. Regular verbs. Okay, it's the first situation. And the second situation is for, it's 3.11 and 3.12. And the second situation is for irregular verbs. So you need to remember its forms. So remember its forms. Remember its forms. So look, do. Look at do. So do is an irregular verb. Do, it's an irregular verb, and you know, do, did, done. Do, did, done. So we call it do infinitive. We call did past simple, and we call done past participle. Okay, so past participle, or the third form past simple, or we can sometimes hear the second form, and a past participle. So you need to know the second form. So to say something in past simple, you need to know the second form of irregular verbs. You need to know the second form of irregular verbs. So do, did, done. So did is the second form. So you say I did it. Look, I see, it's present simple. So what is the second form of see? What's the second form? What's the second form of see? It's saw. So you say I saw, okay? So past simple. How to say it in past simple? I work, I do it. There are two situations. So regular verbs, verb plus ed. I work, I worked. We play, we played. She listened, and irregular verbs. So please remember its forms. So do is an irregular verb. Do, did, done. So infinitive, past simple, or the second form, and past participle, the third form. To say something in past simple, you need to know the second form of irregular verbs. For example, I did it, I see, I saw. So what's the second form of see? Okay? So you please remember it, and let's do some exercise. So you have the sentences in present simple, and you need to say it in past simple. You need to say it in past simple. Good. And you need to say it in past simple. Good. Exercises. Say it in past simple. Say it in past simple. Okay. So I work. So work is a regular verb. So this verb is regular. You add ed. You say I worked. You add ed. I worked. She knows it. So know is an irregular verb. Know, knew. She knew it. She knew it. It helps me. This verb is regular. So, it helped me. It helped me. So, the most difficult thing about past simple is that you need to know irregular verbs. The most difficult thing about past simple is that you need to know irregular verbs. Okay, so exercises. Say it in past simple. I worked. She knows it. She knew it. It helps me. It helped me. The most difficult thing about past simple is that you need to know irregular verbs. Good. Okay, so we often use past simple with such words as we often use past simple with such words as yesterday, good. So the day before yesterday, last week, last month, last year. Then some phrases with ago. Some phrases with ago. For example, 3 days ago, 3 days ago, 5 days ago, 5 days, 5 days ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago, 2 months ago, and so on. And in, for example, in 1988, in 1988. So we often use past simple with such words as yesterday, the day before yesterday, last week, last month, last year. Some phrases with ago, 3 days ago, 5 days ago, 3 weeks ago, 2 months ago, in 1988. Okay, so how to form a negative form? How to form a negative form in past simple? So it's so easy. Didn't plus verb. Didn't plus verb. So I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Next, we. For example, we didn't see it. We didn't see it. You didn't say it. You didn't say it. They didn't arrive. They didn't arrive. Next, he didn't call us. He didn't call us. She didn't return. She didn't return. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. So you know that you use don't or doesn't in present simple, but you use only didn't in past simple. So you use don't or doesn't. Use don't or doesn't in present simple. In present simple. In present simple. Good. To form in a negative form. In a negative form. In a negative form. But you use only didn't with past simple. But you use only didn't with past simple, with he, she, it, we, you, they, and so on. Okay, so you see, didn't plus verb. I didn't do it. We didn't see it. You didn't say it. They didn't arrive. He didn't call us. She didn't return. It didn't happen. So you use don't or doesn't in present simple in a negative form, but you use only didn't with past simple. Good. So don't or doesn't, you use don't or doesn't. So in present simple, in a negative form, but you use only didn't. But you use only didn't with past simple. Good. So how to form a question? How to form a question? So it's very easy. So you put did in the beginning, then I, we, you, they, he, she, it, plus verb. So, for example, did you do it? Did you do it? Did he agree? Did he agree? Did they get? Did they get this money? Did they get this money? So you use do or does in present simple, to form a question, but you use only did in past simple. But you use only did in past simple. Look, so you see, did I, did we, you, they, he, she, it plus verb. So you have some examples. Did you do it? Did he agree? Did they get this money? So use do or does in present simple to form a question, but use only did in past simple. So good. And there are some exercises. There are some exercises especially for you. There are some exercises especially for you. So he come to the party. So you need to say it in past simple, in a statement, in a negative form, and in a question. So here, this verb is irregular. This verb is irregular. So, irregular. This verb is irregular. Come, came. So he came. He came to the party. He came to the party. So you use the second form. You use the second form. Next, how to form a negative sentence. So didn't plus verb. So he didn't plus verb come. He didn't come to the party. He didn't come to the party. And how to ask a question? We put did in the beginning, then a subject, so did he, and a verb. Did he come to the party? Did he come to the party? So you see, there are some exercises especially for you. So you see, he came to the party, you use the second form. He didn't come to the party. Did he come to the party? Good. Yeah, very good. But you also need to know that the past form of the verb to be is was or were. Yeah, was or were. And we use was with I, he, she, it. He, she, it. For example, I was at school. I was at school. He was at school. She was at school. It was at school. And we use we, you, they with were. So we were at school. We were at school. You were at school. They were at school. For example, I was happy. We were lucky. We were lucky. She was there. She was there. It was interesting. It was interesting. We were sad. We were sad or unhappy. Unhappy. They were successful. They were successful. Good. You were a good student. You were a good student. Okay, so let's look at be. So in past simple, be in past simple. So you need to know that we use was or were. So I, he, she, it was, and we, you, they were. So I was happy, we were lucky, she was there, it was interesting, but we were sad, we were unhappy, they were successful, you were a good student. Good. So how to form a negative sentence? So with was or were. So I was not, or I wasn't there, for example. He was not, she was not, it was not, or we often use a short form. So he wasn't there, she wasn't, so she wasn't there, and it wasn't there. It wasn't there. Good. Next. We were not. We were not. You were not. They were not. Or we weren't. We weren't. Good. We weren't. You weren't. They weren't. They weren't there. For example, I wasn't at work. I wasn't at work. I was in the park. They weren't in Italy. They weren't in Italy. They were in another city. They were in another city. They weren't in Italy. They were in another city. Okay, so I, he, she, it was not, and I, he, she, it wasn't. Please remember it. And we, you, they were not. We, you, they weren't. So I wasn't at work. I was in the park. They weren't in Italy. They were in another city. Good. So if you want to ask a question with to be, it's also easier. If you want to ask a question, with was or were, it's also easier. It's also easier. So you say was I, he, she, it. Was I, he, she, it, for example, there. And were you, they, and we there. So were we there? Were you there? Were they there? Okay. So was I right? Was I right? Was she at work? Was she at work? Were they happy? Were they happy? And so on. So if you want to ask a question with was or were, it's also easier. Was I, he, she, it there? Were we, you, they there? Was I right? Was she at work? Were they happy? And I think you need some exercises. You need some exercises. Okay? So, he, happy. Say it in past simple. In a statement, so in a negative form and in a question. So he was or were. we use was with he, she, it. So he was happy. How to make a negative form? Wasn't. So he wasn't happy. And how to ask a question? We put was in the beginning. So was he happy? Was he happy? So I think you need some exercises. So he happy, he was happy, he wasn't happy, was he happy? Good. Very good. Okay, so we studied. Good. We studied present simple. Oh, we studied the group simple. We studied the group of tenses. We studied the group simple. The group simple. So, present simple, past simple, and future simple. Simple. First of all, you need to know how to form these tenses. First of all, you need to know how to form these tenses. Yeah. The basics of English grammar, the basics of English tenses, and English grammar, I believe that to speak English really well, you need to know about 7 tenses. You need to know about 7 tenses. Okay? So we studied the group simple. So you see present simple, past simple, and future simple. First of all, you need to know how to form these tenses, the basics of English tenses and English grammar. I believe that to speak English really well, you need to know about 7 tenses. Good. Let's talk about present continuous. So, it's for things. Or it's for actions. It's for things or it's for actions which are now. How do we form this tense? Am is are plus verb plus ing. So I am, he, she, it is. For example, I'm doing it. He is doing it. She is doing it. It is doing it. We are doing it. You are doing it. They are doing it. So you see, we are doing it, you are doing it, they are doing it. So it's now. For example, I am teaching English now. I'm teaching English. It means it's now. Compare. I'm teaching English. It's now. So it's present continuous. And I teach English. It means in general. it means in general. It means in general. So I do it, I usually do it, I usually do it. Okay, and it's you see, it's present simple. It's present simple. So it's present simple. Yeah, compare. Good. So present continuous is for things or actions which are now. Am is are plus verb plus ing. I'm doing it, he is doing it, she is doing it, it is doing it, we are doing it, you are doing it, they are doing it. Compare. I'm teaching English. It means now, it's present continuous, and I teach English. It means in general. I usually do it, so it's present simple. Okay, so time markers for present continuous. Time markers for present continuous. So now, at the moment. Now at the moment. And time markers for present simple. So always, often, usually, sometimes, never, every. For example, every day, every week, every month, every year, and so on. So yeah, and you can say I'm learning English. I'm learning English now. I'm learning English now. So you can say it with now or without now. I'm learning English now. So, and time markers for present simple. You can say I learn English every day. I learn English every day. So every day tells us that we need to use present simple. Okay, so it tells us that we need to use present simple. Present simple. Okay, so more examples with present continuous. For example, I'm looking at this slide. I'm looking at this slide. I'm reading it. Slide. I'm reading it. I'm watching this video. I'm listening to you. I'm learning English. I'm making progress. I'm making progress in English. All these things. So more examples with present continuous. All these things are happening now. All these things are happening now. So it tells us that we need to use present simple. So more examples with present continuous. I'm looking at this slide. I'm reading it. I'm watching this video. I'm listening to you. I'm learning English. I'm making progress in English. So all these things are happening now. Good. So how to form a negative form? So it's very easy. Am is are plus not plus verb plus ing, or am not plus verb plus ing, isn't plus verb plus ing and aren't plus verb plus ing. So I'm not. We use aren't with we, you, they. Aren't plus verb plus ing, and we use isn't with he, she, it, plus verb plus ing. For example, I'm not walking in the park now. I'm not walking in the park now. I'm staying at home. I'm staying at home. Next, he isn't doing his homework. He isn't doing his homework. He is playing computer games. He is playing computer games. So am is are plus not plus verb plus ing. So I'm not plus verb plus ing. We, you, they aren't plus verb plus ing. He, she, it isn't plus verb plus ing. So I'm not walking in the park now. I'm staying at home. He isn't doing his homework. He is playing